A new book reports that you said he couldn't run a bath. Did you say that?
Well, I'm not, you know, there's a lot of things that were said in that book that I don't recognise to be.
As a coalition government,
no, they raised
the
capital gains tax in the coalition government.
Well, what I'm saying, Andrew,
Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, has been criticised for allegedly making a comment about Prime Minister Keir Starmer in a book titled Get In. Rayner allegedly told a confidant that Starmer was incapable of running a bath. Despite this, Rayner has publicly praised Starmer's leadership, describing him as his worst critic and expressing confidence in his commitment to delivering on Labour's promises.
A new book reports that you said he couldn't run a bath. Did you say that?
Well, I'm not, you know, there's a lot of things that were said in that book that I don't recognise, to be honest.
So did you not say that?
And it's tittle tattle, so I don't recognise what was said in that book.
But that's not tittle tattle. That's what the woman who's now the Deputy Prime Minister is reported to have said about the now Prime Minister.
Sure, and there was lots of other things that people have said about me or anyone else, and no, I don't recognise ever saying that to anybody. But we all have frustrations when we're at work sometimes, and I'm sure people have been frustrated with me.
Angela Rayner's public support for Keir Starmer has sparked discussions about potential internal tensions within the Labour Party's leadership. The contrast between her alleged private criticism and public support has raised questions about how these dynamics might affect their ability to govern effectively and achieve their country's goals. Rayner's recent public praise of Starmer, calling him his worst critic, and her full support for his leadership have raised concerns about the dynamics within the party.
MPs, when politicians refuse to deny something, it means it's true. So, Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, has been quoted today contemptuously saying that the Prime Minister couldn't run a bath, that Keir Starmer couldn't run a bath.
Well, she's right.
Angela Rayner, the second most powerful person in the country, has faced criticism for her statements and figures. She has been accused of denying the accuracy of her figures and claiming that she lacks a firm grasp of the data. This raises questions about the credibility of her statements and the relationship between Labour and the Prime Minister. Rayner has previously defended her leader, Stephen Harper, as strong and capable, but now she is accused of doubting his ability to manage basics, life skills. This raises questions about the credibility of Labour's leadership and whether they are truly on the same page. Rayner's recent interview with veteran journalist Andrew Neil further sparked further debate on the accuracy of her figures.
You need to get your policies right. What would the capital gains tax be under a Labour government, and how much would that raise compared to now?
But I've told you, Andrew, what our priority is. It's about how we invest in our public services.
No, I'm asking you how you would raise the money. How much money would you recoup?
Cut those taxes.
Excuse me, it's important you ask the questions because you want people's votes. How much extra money would you raise by changing the current corporation tax and capital gains tax structures?
Neil critiqued Rayner for focusing on delivering rehearsed talking points rather than engaging with policy details, arguing that this approach exposed a superficial understanding of the issues. Rayner appeared flustered and struggled to provide clear answers when discussing economic policies, highlighting her lack of understanding of the details of her own proposals. Critics argue that Rayner's performance in the interview reflects a lack of preparedness, while supporters argue that such interviews are designed to trip up politicians, and that Rayner's passion for her policies should not be overshadowed by a single challenging encounter.
Smart thing for her to do. The obvious thing would be to say, no, I absolutely didn't say it. I'll tell you why she's not denying it, is because she fears she might have been recorded.
Yep.
So she did say it. She fears she might be recorded, and if she said, no, I didn't say it, somebody would say, well, you did. And that would be toast for her. So she did say that Keir Starmer couldn't run a bath, which is one of the very few accurate things Angela Rayner has ever said.
Angela Rayner's commitment to building 1.5 million homes by 2029 has sparked debate about the importance of detailed policy knowledge versus broader visions in politics. Experts express skepticism about the feasibility of this goal, arguing that even with optimal private sector performance, the government could fall short by 388,000 homes. They advocate for radical planning reforms, such as adopting a European-style zoning system and reconsidering greenbelt land usage. Additionally, industry analysts highlight significant obstacles, such as a shortage of skilled construction workers, raising concerns about the UK's reliance on foreign labour to achieve housing objectives.
In a context where public money is short and the economy is stuttering. Now, housing associations don't always have the cash to sign up to new developments. builders don't always want to build homes if there might not be buyers at the end. The growth forecasts for the government have been downgraded. And also the government's actually made it more expensive for first-time buyers. You've hiked stamp duty, costs have been going up for builders. They'll have to pay more for national insurance for their staff. I mean, it's like you're putting the brake on and the accelerator on at the same time.
The housing market at the moment, there is a considerable amount of problems with supply. So by making sure we're building the homes we desperately need and we're ramping up that supply, that will then help in the medium to long term. We've given the mortgage guarantee scheme so that we've got the pipeline of people that are able to come on and the affordability. We've pushed councils and local authorities to identify the land, have a local plan and build the houses we desperately need. We've helped the social landlords with the changes I've made to Right to Buy and keeping the receipts for that. The £500 million that the Chancellor announced already for the Affordable Homes Programme, all these measures, including the package around planning, there's no excuses to not build those homes.
The construction industry faces challenges such as high building costs and decreased demand due to increased mortgage rates. Private developers may hesitate to build due to potential price declines. Major builders' ambition to build 1.5 million homes requires overcoming planning hurdles and workforce capacity and market dynamics. Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer may present a united front, but their relationship has been challenging. In 2021, Labour suffered a defeat in local elections, and Starmer removed Rayner as Labour's party chair and national campaign coordinator, sparking backlash. Labour heavyweights such as John McDonnell accused him of avoiding responsibility, and Andy Burnham, a potential future leadership rival, publicly criticized the decision.
This can happen, you know, that we haven't built on this scale since the end of the Second World War in the 1950s. We were able to do it then, we can do it now. We just need all elements of the state, including local government, working with us. And I believe that getting that plan right will deliver the homes that people desperately need.
Rayner, furious and blindsided, confronted Starmer in a heated exchange and considered challenging him for leadership. She accepted a reshuffled role, but resentment persisted. In 2024, Rayner privately criticized Starmer, raising questions about her belief in his leadership. This internal friction doesn't disappear overnight, and if they're not on the same page, they can't work together to govern effectively. Trusting them with big decisions is crucial for the country's trust.
There are plenty of homes, she says, but we have a housing crisis. Plenty of houses, plenty of homes in this country, but we have a housing shortage. Which is it, Angela? You're going to have to make your mind up. Do we have a housing shortage, or do we have too many houses? That's what you said. You said we have plenty of houses, but we've got a housing shortage. Which is it? Don't you know? And don't you think, Russell, that she should get a better answer for Trevor Phillips's excellent point? Said if you crunch the numbers, 5 out of every 7 of these alleged new homes that the government's going to build will go to migrants.
Yeah.
She didn't have an answer for that.
So that she's completely painted into a corner here on the basis that, as we said earlier, Rachel Reeves' own budget said that we will see over 2 million migrants come into this country, net, so more, but obviously some will leave, before 2020.
Public trust in politicians is weakened due to internal tensions within Labour. Angela Rayner's alleged comment about Keir Starmer's competence has raised doubts among his team and voters. These internal disputes also create a bigger problem as Labour aims to present itself as a strong, united alternative to Conservatives. However, unity is difficult to sell when the second most powerful person in the party has a history of clashing with the leader. This raises doubts about their ability to govern effectively and handle the country's biggest issues such as housing, the economy, and immigration.
Well, for me, it's common sense. We were elected for this because people can see it. Every one of your viewers today will know somebody in their family that actually desperately needs a council house or desperately wants to get on the housing ladder, or they're stuck in house that's not appropriate for them because they can't downsize because the homes are not available. So they know this has to happen, and therefore I'm determined to change things. We're the builders, we're not going to be the blockers.
In the upcoming general election, Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner must convince the public they are on the same page to avoid infighting and causing voters to question the possibility of real change. The party promises stability and competence, but Internal tensions and Rayner's past comments about Starmer raise questions about his leadership ability and public trust.
Look, Keir has been completely open about wanting to do his best for this country, and I admire him for that. I've worked with Keir now for a number of years. Now, I am straight talking. Me and Keir don't always agree on everything. But the one thing I will say about him is he won't do what he thinks is popular. What he wants to do is deliver, because there's nobody worse critic to Keir than Keir. In my understanding of how he works and my personal experience with him.
KK has been open about his desire to do his best for the country. But Labour's ambitious promises, such as building 1.5 million homes, are facing skepticism. Andrew Neil's interview exposed Rayner's shaky grasp of policy details, raising concerns about the leadership team's deliverable plan. Past clashes between Starmer and Rayner have shown that not everything behind the scenes is as smooth as they want voters to believe. This is not just political gossip, but also about leadership trust and whether the government can truly deliver. Can Starmer and Rayner convince the country they're on the same page, or will internal cracks derail their plans?